All right. Good evening, everyone. Dave Wilson of Results Staffing, and I'm here tonight with Collins Harlan over in St. Louis, Missouri. How's it going, Colin?
It's going great.
Great.
Rainy, snowy, 40 degrees.
About snow, about staffing. So you know the drill. Right after these messages, we'll be right back. Oh, now how do you like that video?
It's very, very nice.
$23.
$23.
That's it with the Fever app. It's great. Oh, we got already first guest. Hey, Tuvia. Tuvia's in Miami, Florida.
Hey,
You must be Tuvia, Miami, Florida. It's 21 degrees here. We're going to get like about 2 foot of snow. So he's a great connection. But hey, everybody, I'm here with Collins Harlan over in St. Louis, Missouri, and he works for Labor Finders. And I enjoyed reaching out to him. We've talked a couple discussions on what he does, and we're going to pick his brain tonight because he's got a lot of years in staffing too. And now we have, hey, Bill, this guy, Pittsburgh. All right. Hey, Bill, you getting a lot of snow up there? I can imagine because we're getting it here. So, Colin, do you want to introduce yourself and just tell us about yourself?
Sure. And David, thanks for having me on. It's an honor. I've been in staffing for about 20 years, all in the St. Louis, Missouri market. I've done physician recruiting. I've done direct hire, temp to perm. But for the brunt of my career, I've been in industrial staffing, so mostly entry level and semi-skilled positions.
Right. And how's that? Now, what you said with Labor Finders, you are doing more what type of staffing?
Well, it's in our region, we have a lot of logistics, warehousing, fulfillment type of jobs. So it's all industrial, pick and pack, that type of thing.
I can imagine. That's what we have a lot of up here. And hey, what I wanted to say real quick to everybody, do you realize, Collins, with all this snow that we're going to get, right? Almost 2 foot, they're saying. If recruiters are out there on the East Coast listening, tomorrow is the day to staff, or the 2 days, because it's going to take those candidates get 2 days to get back to work. So not only I'm going to take some tomorrow, I'm not kidding you. Look at this. So I put out an ad for a company I'm hiring. Now that's all that's all the ones I haven't answered. So I'll tell you what, if I should be able to take 15 people tomorrow, they're going to be home.
You're going to be a busy guy, David.
Oh, it's going to be nice, because if they're not home, but the only downside of that is recruiters that work for home, they're not off like it used to be.
Right.
You had a snow day. Yeah. There ain't no snow day now. So I wanted to ask you, in St. Louis, like you've been doing it for over 20 years now. What are some of the struggles that you've seen, Collins, pre-COVID and then COVID?
Pre-COVID, the unemployment was, wow, the market was so tight. And then everything changed with COVID. Hospitality got just knocked out overnight. I remember going through the Great Recession in 2008.
Yeah,
that was horrible. But this was overnight. So pre-COVID, everything was just cooking and just going along real smooth. But the market was really tight, so it was really hard to find good people. And then after COVID, there was a lot of displaced employees.
That's the same thing I think everybody can relate to, the hospitality and everybody. Before I forget, I got this one post I like that you did, everybody. He did this. If you go into Collins, he has it's hard for people to see, but it's just a picture of a boy or a teenager lying on the couch, and it says, any one of these at home, no worries. Let them know there's a new game out there called Go to Work. They can download it for free at laborfinders.com. Currently, the game is offered at first, second, and third shift. I had to laugh at that, man.
Just trying to think outside the box.
Well, yeah, because you can't, because that is so funny when you see somebody just sitting on the couch like that.
Yeah.
And that catches a lot of people's attention, because a lot of people are sitting home.
Well, David, you don't think it was too snarky?
What's that?
You don't think it was too snarky?
No, I think it was great because it showed, it made me read your post. So if a person was reading that, they'd be like, hey, that could be a job, or that's pretty funny. I thought it was great. That's a way to get your company out there. I wanted to ask you, I also noticed a lot that you talk, when I read a lot about your company culture, you seem to be real big in that. Can you explain what you feel company culture means in your words?
Yep. And of course, it's going to mean something different to every level, whether you're at the top of the corporation, the middle, or an entry level worker. But basically, in my opinion, you got to have strategy and culture, right? I mean, they kind of feed off of each other. But if you don't have, you can have the best strategy in the world, and if you don't have a good culture, a supportive culture, it's going to fail. It's just a matter of time. So we look for companies that are very supportive, companies that build the right culture, so that we can recruit more aggressively and have more of an edge. We want to make sure that we're working with clients who prioritize culture, if that makes sense.
No, and then what do you feel like? We both been in staffing for a long time. What I've learned, Colin, now, with going out on my own, is customer service. You need to concentrate on that. I believe if I would have done more of that, I always look back, if I would have put the customer first a lot more often, followed up a little bit. Yes, I'm guilty. I try to follow up now with as many people as I can, but I didn't realize, because we didn't have that culture with some of the companies. There were some that I didn't want to staff, being the branch manager and then the market manager. I didn't want to staff them because I was set up for failure. I didn't like the culture of the companies. There's some that if I went back to the company, I'd be like, no, I don't even send candidates there because they don't represent, and what brings to me mind about that is I saw one of your videos that I liked when you did the live videos. You like them just like myself. You went in on second shift.
Yeah.
And showed pizza. And you said what resonates with me is second shift is always forgotten.
Yeah.
And you had a lunch, or you just showed up, or?
Just showed up. Surprised the supervisor, and lucky for me, he's a nice guy and talked to me live. So.
Right. No, I saw that. I was like, that's the kind of things that I tell everybody that they need to do with the companies, because the candidates get to see what you're doing, and they get to know you on video, and they, wow, I've met him, yeah, Colin seems like a great guy, and they can feel you out, they reach out. What do you find now, the struggles in Missouri? Because we're far away, but what do you find the struggles? Is it finding the candidates? Because we have a lot of candidates, we just don't, and we have a lot of jobs.
Right. Well, it seems like the market is tightening up again. We don't have numbers yet, but it feels like it is. We're seeing a little bit of a spike in unemployment claims, this and that. But also, with regards to the customers, it seems like we're having to educate the customers a lot with regards to, raising rates and what to expect when you raise rates. It's not just because you raise your rate that doesn't solve the problem.
Oh, stop right there. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, everybody. You can tell right there. What Colin said is what I try to say. It's not, I've been saying it's not all about the money, because I don't get candidates that come in here all the time and say, well, it's because $1 more, $2.
Right.
It's the shifts. It could be the culture.
Right.
But go ahead and finish. I had to stop you on that because that's exactly what has to be done.
One of the just as an example, a very very good customer. The head guy, he really lamented over raising the rates, and he came through. He raised it $2 an hour across the board, which is kind of a big deal to a company. Yeah. That's quite a cost. But he couldn't understand why he wasn't getting better candidates just because of that, and so it's an opportunity to go in and help that company understand what the real issues are, how to get to where they thought they were going to get to just by raising price. So it's a process. But culture, it always goes back to culture, because if to an entry level worker, a warehouse worker, they need to know that you've got their back. They can talk about their grievances freely without any fear of repercussions.
Yes.
Is there a path for advancement? If they feel that way, it's likely that they're going to view your job as a better job than the other one that they had, or one that they could have. To me, it's all about the culture.
It is. And Tuvia says no such thing as bad publicity. You're right. Yeah. And it's not. This gentleman here, when you reach out to him, Colin, he has a great tool with What's Up. I say it's a What's Up app. I always say What's Up. And when you connect with him, this man has such great ideas, and you can utilize his ideas kind of changing around to what you do and how he does groups and what he does. He recruits from Florida to New York. He handles all this stuff for the New York. And that's why you'll see when you talk with him. Culture always wins over money. Correct. And I agree with you, because I seen over here, they'll raise it up 2. Then you got to go back and say you raise it 3, and nothing changes.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But if you say, hey, everybody, this is Dave Wilson. Listen, we have a great company that will work with you. They opened up 6 different shifts, maybe 15, 20 minutes apart. There's a couple of companies that were smart and did that. And then they worked part-time on the weekends, part-time jobs. And you think about that for a part-time job, because if they're collecting unemployment, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some of the people lost good jobs.
Right.
I don't blame them. But then they wanted to work. They needed extra income. So why not open it up to the weekends? And they're succeeding.
And frankly, you're targeting some really good dedicated workers that way.
Yeah. And how do you feel about the hospitality industry and, with all the stores closing and everything like that? Have you found out that you can take some of those candidates and try to resell them? And my wording is always not the best, but try to educate the client to take, because not everybody wants to work in a warehouse.
Right. Well, at the beginning of the crisis, we were real aggressive. Obviously, that was the group that needed help. So we even went around on foot, handing out flyers to bars and restaurants and fast food places. And
I got the chills. I love it. That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, we're like guerrilla marketers, and of course we advertised everywhere else too. But companies were, it's kind of a meet in the middle situation. You're right. Some of those people, they don't have experience in warehouses. That's not their cup of tea. But also from a client's perspective, they know those folks aren't really experienced working in that environment. So,
right.
But in the beginning of the pandemic, both parties were really willing to meet in the middle. So companies wanted to help these folks, and these folks wanted to go to work. So, and it's still kind of that way. I mean, things have gotten a little bit better, and our restaurants are opening a little bit more now, but there's still a huge need.
Yeah, and that's what I try to tell everybody. Some new ideas with the technology. I know people don't like AI, and my vision has been pre-COVID remote. I believe in because everything that you have at your branch, I have behind me from North Carolina and Florida, the companies I use for workers' comp and everything, and EOR. And so I don't have all those expenses as much as but I have the backing of every single thing that you have. The only thing I do have to do is I have to be the HR and everything, you're normal. Like you've done it for years ago.
Yeah.
Here's Daryl's a good recruiter here. Also, also stop asking for maintenance tech that is supposed to be the fixing for everything that's wrong, from forklifts to HVAC, and the janitor. I always have to read Daryl's post second, 2 times. Also, stop asking for a maintenance tech that is supposed to be fixing for everything that's wrong, from forklifts to HVAC, and the janitor for 20 hours. Okay. And I think I understand what he's saying there is, what am I not getting?
Here, can I try?
Yeah.
Daryl, are you kind of saying, look, a maintenance tech isn't a one size fits all type of thing? You need to be specific.
Yeah, we'll see. He'll answer it. He'll come back on that.
Okay.
I think that's what he's asking there, for everything that's wrong. Sometimes I enjoy reading it because I'm like, my words aren't perfect. Trust me, So he'll definitely answer that back. But we've tried to come up with new ideas here, because at the results I get a lot of interns. Oh, here he goes. All right. Yes. So we're explaining what he said.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain that then?
Oh, yeah. Well, so I mean, I haven't had. Oh wait. Also, okay. So I haven't had a lot of experience with that particular issue or problem, because I think it's important as a recruiter to have a very deep understanding of what your client is wanting the hire to do.
Right.
So, but I could see though that that would happen in the market,
right.
And that's not a very good situation. So
no, and he's another great contact that you want to talk with. He's got some great ideas. He'll reach out, and all these people that come on here, really good connections. I've learned a lot from them. But I was set up to where my vision was, before I left the corporate world, was to take person from A all the way to finish and being virtual. So being remote. So when it did hit, between all the softwares that I use, I can listen, if a candidate wants to go to work, they're going to come on to look, everybody has a phone. They can come on Messenger. They can come on this platform with 6 people, talk to them. If they talk, send them all their paperwork. Do actually through this a company orientation, kind of like a tour, because you said even about I noticed on one, you did a company tour. So by doing that, it shows the candidates what the job looks like.
Yeah.
Because they're not allowed to just walk in. They just can't walk in. And what do you tell them? All right, pick and pack.
Yeah.
Is it cold? You don't tell them, hey, listen, the 1.2 million square foot warehouse, they don't heat it. They put just enough,
right.
Are you going
to be on your feet all day?
And that's it. And a lot of them people. But with social media around here it's getting harder, but you have to be creative. Do you utilize a lot of social media too?
I do, not as well as you do, but I'm learning from you.
Oh, it's fun. It's what I try to do is I take one tool, like with Tuvia's, and try to make something out of it that fits me. Mm-hmm. And there's so many different ideas that you can just take one thing, and my brain won't sleep, because it's like, I got to figure out how to utilize that. If it's something's free, or, I'll take anything that's free.
There's a great motivation with free. Yeah.
And I struggle with the job boards. How are the job boards in your area? Do you get a lot of candidates from them, or do you get it mostly from social media?
We get a little more from the job boards, but we've grown our social media production. I noticed that's grown. So again, free.
Yeah, I guess. Let me see. Oh, my daughter late. Yes, Bill, I got her email. I have to respond to it tonight or tomorrow. She asked me a question of she did one last part of the video and she wasn't sure if she skipped it. So I'm going to reach out to her tomorrow. I just got the notification. All right, let's see. Darryl, I read a posting today that wanted a maintenance tech that needed to be able to weld, fix the forklifts, programming, PLC, electrical. Whoa.
Good luck.
Whoa. What the hell? And he's
good luck. Yeah.
And he's, oh, wow. All right. Yep, Bill, I'm going to reach out to her tomorrow because I'm sure she'll be home. Bill's daughter is doing a video resume screen. And that's been some successful. Trying to teach, when you said before, you said it right, educating the clients. Mm-hmm. Do you find any kind of pushback from that? Or do you find they want to hear it?
I wouldn't call it pushback. I don't get pushback, but I get resistance, if that makes sense.
Right.
Um, they're they'll listen, but I get the feeling that it takes a few conversations to get to the right questions.
Right.
And once we get that established, then they're on board. I don't really get pushback because we have pretty good relationships, and
Yeah.
they know we're here to help. So they don't push back, but it's a little resistance at first.
I had a couple companies here that I had one that would always tell me that's your problem. And
Oh,
I'm like, no, it's our problem.
right.
Because,
Yeah.
and you said it exactly when you said, I'm going to go back to where you said about people getting pushed back. Because say if you wanted to be honest with them, if something's going wrong, they don't want to say something.
Right.
Because they can be let go. But if they have your trust, knowing that you have their back, like you said, they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
So when a client would say stuff like that, and you just ended, I don't like the word temp. I like associates because it's just that temp word. Everybody thinks, oh, you're just a temp.
Yeah.
But when they realized that we're there to help them, and not fill the orders, but it's tough. It is hard.
It is for them to see that. Look, it's a process and it's relationship building. And once you get there, you're there,
Yeah.
But it takes a while. It's not an overnight thing.
That's what I mean. And it's still constantly. Have you seen anything? I wanted to talk to you about new ideas. Like, have you seen anything going on in your market that you've done differently? I like the bars and the restaurants, but a flyer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fun. But when we did that, by the way, it was kind of a drag because there's a lot of bars and restaurants out there. See, there's a lot of stops, right?
Right.
We focused on certain areas, but they were very receptive. These people were panicking because, again, it happened overnight. They had no idea what they were going to do other than file for unemployment. And so they were just really happy to see us, so that felt good.
Because if it's a temporary position, that would work good for them, knowing that their worker was working.
Well, that's the way I tried to sell it to or I shouldn't say sell it. I tried to assure the establishment, the people that were hiring folks, and that were getting ready to lose staff, that we can offer them temporary work so that they come back to you. Don't want to rob their people, that they've trained.
That's a great way to sell that, like you said. And I thought about it when you said that is, wow, if you knew that you're going to give her a month work, but if you call, you can always replace the person.
Right, exactly.
I'd be like, okay, that's fine.
And also our client companies, most of them are temp to perm. And under normal circumstances, they wouldn't much appreciate that we were sending them temporary people that we knew were going to do another job eventually.
Right.
But everybody was trying to help everybody, and everybody understood. So it was just a good. It really built relationships with the community and candidates out there, and I think it was a win-win for everybody.
That's the way I look at it. Is I've been trying to do different things, and the relationship. I tell you, just speaking with them and people coming on the show. I have a company next week on Wednesday, a medical company, that they just want me to come over and what I charge just to speak to their recruiters for a couple hours. I was like, yeah, that was pretty awesome because they just need guidance and some new tools. Yep. So I can go over there and show them. And she was very interested because it's the different ideas. It's not the same. Over here, you could go, if you went pre-COVID, even years before it, and you went there now, it's still the same old way. Nothing changes.
Interesting.
Job boards, little social media postings. They struggle. They stand outside. They don't do it now in the cold weather, but the cars pulling up. And if they would just utilize social media right, but it's not their fault. Mm-hmm. It's not the recruiter's fault. I don't blame them because if you don't give them the tools. You've been a branch manager, business development manager, regional sales manager. I mean, do you agree?
No, I definitely agree. Yeah, I mean, if you're working for a corporation, a company, your hands are kind of tied.
Yeah, and that's
if they don't give you the right tools.
All right, Bill. Before I got into sales in 2005, I had been a stationary engineer for 22 years. At our workplace, we had HVAC techs, electric techs, control techs, and plumbers. We did not have guys that did it all. The post you spoke about, yeah, I mean, and then Daryl, for the employee, how would they feel if the employer had tried to find them work while environment changed? Do you want to answer that one?
For the employee, how would they feel if the employer had tried to find them work while I'm not sure I understand it.
Yeah, work while the environment changed. Daryl, you always have the greatest questions that make us, I always have to freeze with him. For the employee, how would they feel if the employer had tried to find them work while the environment changed? Maybe when they changed jobs or the environment outside, inside. And well, I know he'll post back in.
Yeah, Daryl, if you could clarify that a
Yeah.
little bit, rephrase it.
But one thing I want to talk to you about, we're going to go into more in the staffing, but do you want to explain to, I really saw that you like to raise money for children because you said 1 in 4 go in your area go hungry. And can you explain what you were doing?
Well, thanks for bringing that up. Obviously, food insecurity is a hot topic right now everywhere you look, and all the food banks are stretched thin. In fact, we started doing business with a couple of the big food banks here, and it's been a great relationship. And it just kind of got bit by the bug of civic duty, as this pandemic started gaining momentum, and I started doing a lot of volunteer work and working like food drives. We have an urban league here that's fantastic, and they work hand in hand with these nonprofit, food banks. And when you get out there in the community and you start, being part of the solution, instead of just watching it on the news.
There I go again. See, there are the key words that you hit with me that I feel the same way.
Yeah. And so, so many good things just kind of start to happen. You're just putting boxes of food in people's cars, on the weekends or whatever. But you meet so-and-so who introduces you to so-and-so, and there's a need here and a need there. And pretty soon you're just you look back and you're involved. You're part of the solution, and it's a great sense of pride at that point. And you just, you want your company to be part of that, so, that's kind of how we got involved. But boy, our clients were so giving.
Really?
Oh my goodness. What we did is we partnered with Operation Food Search, which is a non-for-profit in our area. They're an independent, but they're a big force where we are. They really help out a lot. And our clients I think they donated 700 pounds of food. And we also took a lot of donations. This is small change in a way, $700, 700 pounds of food. But it was our first year doing it. And we were pretty proud of it. And,
that name goes a long way, I bet. I bet it goes a long way. I bet your name goes a long way when you're handing out food. And
well, you would think so. It can't hurt to be out there helping and being part of the solution. And there's so many areas and places to do that right now. It just seems like a no-brainer,
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely helped. We've gotten we've made a lot of good relationships just from being out there in the mix,
That's it. Oh, all right. We got Daryl. Here you go. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I have the same one there. Oh, here we go. Okay.
It's COVID hot. Hotels, etc. Stood to lose staff. How would the staff feel that the employer stepped up and tried to help them find work while the shutdowns occurred? Well, if I'm interpreting that would have been a great thing. And I think that if what you're saying, Daryl, and correct me if I'm wrong, is what if some of these employers, these hospitality employers, would have stepped up and proactively tried to help these folks out before they were let go? That actually did happen to a degree. A lot of places did that, but I think that's a good thing. That's a fantastic point.
You got me thinking so much about that to reach out two of them to the industries and try to sell them to the company also. That makes a lot of sense. I want to introduce you to Rob. I still haven't seen a salt truck. Rob's another great connection right now. He's in transition. He's going to be, and he's seeking work, but very skill set, and he's got some great ideas also. And Daryl said yes. So that's what he was talking
Good
about.
point, Daryl.
It is. And this is what I love about LinkedIn Live is all the candidates, all the colleagues that I've known and I've met on LinkedIn Live here. You can really learn so much just by this conversation, what you're doing and what we're doing. What I want to say is, here we go. With the social media, do you just do the live videos, or does all the staff get into it also? And
Yep. It's a team effort for sure. And on LinkedIn, you got to have a certain decorum. You can get kind of goofy sometimes, but you feel like that's kind of frowned upon.
yeah.
But we're a small office, and we have a lot of fun with the Facebook lives. We border on Monty Python sometimes, I think. And,
I love it.
yeah.
All right. You want to read this? Take this one, Colin.
Okay, Rob. In the last few years, we've been serving hot meals for the homeless people throughout the city. The homeless. That was something that first of all, Rob, awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
But when this started, and all the hotels were at, not very much occupancy, there was some word in the chambers and city governments that maybe we could put some of the homeless up in these empty hotels temporarily. Rob, do you guys have any plans in your area for how to get them off the street or provide them shelter?
That's a good question, because he does a lot of stuff, and while he's answering that, Bill, thanks, Bill, I appreciate it. And Bill always comes on the show. He'll tell you when he's getting off and when he comes off, but he's a great person to,
Nice
like I said, reach
Bill.
out with. I know I had a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
All right. Do you see certain industries in your area coming back strong right now in Missouri, or something else that's coming along? Like, what I'm saying is, like, some industries have dropped, but then some have gone up. Do you see any kind of that in your area?
For whatever reason, our manufacturing, manufacturing is not, what it used to be anywhere in the country except maybe Silicon Valley. But that's a whole other story. But in our area, the St. Louis area, our manufacturing sector has been pretty steady through the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah. But one thing that we've seen some growth in, and directly related to COVID, by the way, is companies that do site management and have pivoted to offer sterilization and cleaning and COVID management. That, of course, we've actually got some business with a GM plant. It's not GM proper, but it's a maintenance company that has been contracted by GM, and they use a lot of our people.
For that, can you do a lot of them just go back and forth, or do you have temporary people that will work one job? Like you said, a lot of them are temp to perm, but do you have jobs that are just temporary also?
Very few. That one that I just mentioned but that's just kind of a symptom of the times. Most of our jobs are temp to perm, and the companies have made that very clear that they're looking for people to come fit in.
I think that's a big thing, because that's what we have. The one company I help staff for, they only take on temp to perm. And I believe what you said is because you're investing a lot of money anymore. A lot of people think staffing companies just charge so much and they make a lot of money.
Right.
But they don't, because of that turnover. You need to work with them. Like you said before, I want the candidates to come to me and say, hey, Dave, I'm having a problem with a supervisor, but I don't want to say anything, because that's tricky when you go, you're kind of like, well, you need to stick up for your employee.
Right.
I always take harassment. I take anything. Well, I take a lot serious, but when it comes to harassment, no. I'll stop it right there. You have to call that client and say, what's going on? Yep. It's a tough conversation. Some people will just try to let it go because they won't be back, but it'll bite you. It'll come back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I really take that stuff to heart now. When we talked about the extra interviews, I try to answer them all. I don't want to let it go, because it's got me. And it's not
Well,
fair.
And a lot of that's another thing that I've noticed is, I don't know if it's really changed, but it's become a focus from our clients. A lot of them welcome the feedback. They want the feedback and they want to hear it. And that's another good reason to be um, as choosy as you can be. I know you can't always be as choosy as you'd like to be with regards to your client selection,
Right.
because then it's not a problem to go to the client. But we provide feedback often, and like you said though, when it comes to harassment, there's some things you just have to. You don't
Yeah.
want to be complicit.
No,
So,
and I've had all different kind of candidates, and I've had I'm sure you have a lot of people here, so many different scenarios nowadays that you have to. Bill has a question for you.
how about the construction business? I've got several clients in St. Louis that are very busy. Thank you, Bill. What's interesting about our area, first of all, we would like to do more construction business because all of our branches on the West Coast, down south, even on the East Coast, like the Carolinas, it's almost 90% construction in those branches. We have a union presence here that is very selective, and a lot of the contracts require the contractors to use completely 100% union employees on the site, even for sweeping the floors, which is, really costs the company a lot of time and money. They're taking their iron workers off the job to sweep the floors, which probably doesn't make the iron workers happy. But we have a little bit of a sticking point there with the unions. But I think that that's beginning to soften. And if we could connect, I would love to accommodate that need. Murphy Company, absolutely. And may I use your name when I contact them, or? But Bill, I'd like to talk to you more about that away from the call, because we're trying hard to find more construction business in St. Louis, and I feel like there's a huge need, and that the union can't possibly handle it all. There's a huge skilled labor shortage. If we could partner with the union better, I think that we could do something. But Bill, if mostly union folks, yeah, Bill, I'd love to speak with you through email or whatever. Perhaps we can connect, but we could definitely accommodate that need.
Yeah, and this gentleman here, you gotta connect with Thurston Baker.
All right.
He is an awesome, another person he tells it like it is. That's what I like about Thurston is with Titan ceramic. He makes here we go, Thurston. I know with the clay, at the table, with the ghost movie, he does all the pottery, whatever. But he does awesome. But he tells it like it is. He's got a lot of experience, and when you connect with Thurston, he's just no bull. He tells it like it is.
David, I feel like I owe you a fee for this coming on. I've met so many wonderful folks.
Oh, you will. And there's Bill. So
awesome. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah. And again, like Thurston, I've had him on the show a couple times, and he might not be in staffing right now, but his beliefs are like mine. His beliefs are everything about, because I used to say is, if you were watching this video when I first started doing videos, is would you hire me as a client? Because I would be like sitting there. Sometimes I get all mad and I'll start throwing things on the line in papers and saying things, the truth. And I always had a problem with that, because I'd be like, wow, should I go back and delete that? Because what company is going to hire me when I'm saying these things? But what I've noticed is they like the truth. And it makes sense, because if somebody's going to tell me, listen, I need 10 people by 3 days, I'll be like, I don't think, I might be able to get 3 or 4. You would never say that before. Oh, sure. Let it go. And then the customer gets angry. Yep. Everybody gets angry because you overpromised. I've turned down a couple of accounts. It's like 1.2, right? Oh, how could 1.2 million? But when you took all the workers out, all the pay, and 38%, you weren't making hardly anything. I might as well go work at Turkey Hill.
and work at 24 hours on the project as well.
Yeah, and that's what's tough about it, because they don't understand. But the truth, it's working pretty good for me. It works.
And I always tell people coming into our business that it's so much of it is about relationships and being genuine and just wanting to help the client. And in doing so, your best bet is just to be honest.
Yeah, and it's true, and that's why he's real honest. I was like, woo, but he's a good man, and let's see, I wouldn't hire myself. Tubia, this is what Tubia does real quick, because then I see Bill wants to mention. Tubia does this "What's Up" app, so he's kind of like a job board. What he does is he charges clients like a job posting, and he charges maybe $29 or $49. And even some a little bit more. But what he does is then he just posts it. That's all he charges. He posts that job to reach out to the company in New York. Candidates go to those companies there. So he's got that niche down with thousands and thousands of groups.
Oh, wow.
And he'll put like, hey, I'm hiring for a position in New York. You have to contact. You don't contact him. You contact the customer. And we always have a joke going. He says when he drives his car, he hears his phone, cha-ching. When he drives and walks his dog, cha-ching. And then when he takes his kids out, cha-ching, that means another customer. And he's got it down to a T, you know. And all right, here's Bill. Oh, there you go.
Yes, let's meet there in Maplewood, the brewery in Maplewood. Definitely. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and then that's awesome. To be oh, here he is, cha-ching, cha-ching. You know, but he knows what it's like because he's a gentleman that's given me some ideas. Again, do I use the What's Up app? But it's in the same content I learned about him as groups. So make yourself a group inside your social media of like forklift drivers I did. So I have all forklift drivers that I invite to my group, just that group. It takes a while, but then you have 40, 50, 60. And then all of a sudden I'll put a job in there just there and say, hey, if anybody's not working, boom. It takes a little bit.
Very smart.
It is. Yeah. And I'd hire me in place would go right to the top.
That's because you're a potter.
There he goes. Yeah. See. Oh, all right. You got that one on me, Colin. I didn't. All right. You're right.
All right.
He's probably saying that. And lucky guys. There we go. It's better to make $500 a day than money after 30 or 60.
Yep.
That's his belief. So I got one more thing for you, and then we're going to wrap it up. What do you see in the next few months? If you had to predict, you know, and say 6 months from now, you remember how first quarter would drop boldly because that's the peak after the holiday season. But I wasn't sure where it was going to go in January because I figured all the back orders, you go on Amazon, well, it's not ready. So I thought it would be extended, but I'm trying to see what's going to happen 3 to 4 months from now, 5 months.
Man, $1 million question.
I wish
I had something magical to tell you. And I can only speak for my market. You know, I'm in the, if everybody indulge me, I'm in the entry-level industrial market. So in St. Louis, Midwest.
Right.
But one thing I think that is happening across the nation is the unemployment is pretty high, and I really think you're going to see it creep up there again and tighten up. So, you know, I could say that, I think, with some confidence.
Right.
Other than that, I
wish I knew. And what real quick, and I'm going to give you this idea of what they're going to do is and Bill, you're going to like this, and then we'll get going here. So it's going to be announced soon. I'm going to be selling the Duck and Owl video screen, so as be a rep for them also. And what I liked about it is the video resume screen. You know, they ask the questions, you record it. So what Duck and Owl did now is a video job board. So I can post a job, but I have my video specifically for that, reaching out to you saying, hi, Collins, I think you're a great fit for this. It has the job description right below it. And I'd really like to talk to you about it. And hey, would you like to mind doing a video talent screen testing to do this? But I really liked your resume. So I'm actually talking to you because I mentioned your name. You do a link, YouTube. You just say for 30 seconds, oh, I like this candidate. Send it to them. And they're going to see a video of yourself talking to you about that job.
Sold. That's great.
Yeah. And I said to Vic, he's a CEO. And I was like, when? Is it now? And he's like, no, it's coming. And what a way to personalize the job.
Real quick, if I may.
No, go ahead.
That's another thing that we all see coming, I think, is the need to evolve in the way that we communicate with associates and clients, and I think that's a great step forward.
I know people don't like videos, but when he told me, when I saw that, the girl was talking about the person's name and actually the resume and the job description. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, because it was me talking to you,
Yeah.
and so that I think that gives candidates, because the other thing that we run into a lot is here is like with Indeed and Career Builder, you have so many people applying for so many jobs that aren't even qualified or don't even want the job. That's where it's hard, because you miss good people. If you're getting 500-600 resumes, you don't have time. I mean, I don't, to go through 500-600 resumes. I rely on the keywords and trying to at least show you a percentage or something, instead of overseas, everybody applying from overseas and all the spam. And that's what we're trying to figure out too, is those job boards. And
I'm learning a lot from you, Dave.
It's a trip. So, all right. If you want to say where you're working again, Colin.
Oh yeah.
About yourself and what company, and put it out there. And I want to
thank you. Thank you for having me on. Labor Finders in St. Louis, Missouri. We have 3 branches, and you can reach us at 636-287-3709.
All right. We'll put that in the comment thread. We'll put that in there. And right after this, we'll put it on the thread. So then we'll have that on there for everybody to reach out to you, because I just think it's great that other staffing companies are willing to come on a show and talk. I have no luck in my area.
Well, it's an amazing show, and thanks to all the people that I was able to meet tonight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and they're good people, and I listen. I reach out to them whenever I have a problem, and I learn a lot. And like I said, everybody, I have David Stearns, of the CEO of Haley Marketing, coming on probably next week. I'll let everybody know, and he's one of the greatest for websites. You want to talk about websites? I mean, he is the one that he's just a great guy, and he doesn't mind coming. And he loves our show because we just laugh, and he does a lot. So Bill has one more thing, and
absolutely,
there you go. All right, everybody, I want to thank you, Colin, so much, and I appreciate you coming on the show. And I know we're going to be talking over and over and over. So on that note, everybody, we're going to just do the outro here, and we will talk to you soon. So have a nice night. Stay warm. Bill, we're getting like 2 feet.